so here we are. This is the gibbet at Hindhead, and Steve and I are standing. Cynthia's behind us somewhere, way back as usual. But this is where is it the highwayman or the
yeah, it was a sailor who was on his way from London to rejoin his ship in Portsmouth, and he was having a drink in a pub, befriended these three guys, bought them a drink and everything, and then left the pub, and then these guys followed him to the point just over the gibbet, which we'll see in a minute, the gravestone, and they murdered him, stole his money, some of his clothes and everything, and they were finally caught somewhere, we think Thursley or somewhere around that way, or Rogate, and were arrested, and they were hung in chains by the gibbet.
The gibbet,
and were left there for 3 days,
right,
as a deterrent to anybody who thought of doing the same thing.
Oh right, yeah. We've just come down off the path that we want to do, and this is an area that I mentioned just now, or I don't know if I did actually, where they've cut all the silver birch trees down to give you this view across the punch bowl. This is a wonderful view, but it's very windy. It says Hyde Park corner 39 miles, Godalming 7 miles, and Liphook 5 miles. And I can never remember what the little arrow's for. Pardon?
It's a benchmark.
Benchmark, that's it. Thank you, Cynthia. Sorry?
Is it to do with elevation?
Yeah, Steve would know, he's clever. Is that benchmark?
Yes.
Benchmark, yeah. We've got this notice board here, an original milestone from the Turnpike Road. Just here it says, you are now on the original route of the old London to Portsmouth Road. From 1748 to 1873, the road was owned by the Kingston upon Thames to Sheep Bridge Turnpike Company, which maintained the road and collected tolls from travellers, but offered no protection from highwaymen. And then it tells you more. It's very difficult to read some of this, but I will just go down very, very slowly. One thing we noticed just now is this, what we've never seen before, is that Hindhead Hidden Trail. You've got the normal ones like this, but that sign we've never seen before. And just here we've got the Sailor's Stone. We go down these steps very carefully. I'm trying to read that and I can't. Look at that. Unfortunately, a lot of the surface is beginning to break up now. Hopefully they'll do something about that.
24th of September.
But this stone, Cynthia was telling me earlier on that this stone was moved from another position, Cynthia, wasn't it? I take it was then, was it?
Yes, I think it was. I'm not sure where from.
Well, we're still walking along the turnpike, the old turnpike road, as I mentioned just now, but we are looking for one particular bit along here somewhere. Right, we found the plate on the floor which we were looking for, and this is marking the highest point above the tunnel in Hindhead. It says that the A3 Hindhead Tunnel is 65 metres, which is 213 feet below this point. So we can't even feel anything, can we?
No.
But it's just incredible that we are 213 feet above where the tunnels are.
Is that to the ceiling, not to the floor?
That's a very good point. I would suggest that that is to the ceiling.
Yeah.
Or could it be to the centre?
I would think to the ceiling.
To the ceiling height. Okay.
At that depth,
You're actually inside the tunnel. Yeah. So there we are. We found that particular plate actually on the old turnpike, which is rather interesting when you think about the fact the old original turnpike is here, but the newer part of the A3, the tunnel, is below us. Yeah. We've come away from the highest point above the tunnel, 213 feet above it, and I'm just thinking to myself that it's very interesting that Cynthia, Steve and I were on the old turnpike road, the original old road from London to Portsmouth, where all the travellers and coaches and people would travel along to get to their destinations. But where we are now, we're directly above the newer part of the A3, which is the new modern tunnel. And to think the way over the, I don't know, since the 1700s or whatever it was, how things have changed so dramatically. For the better, I don't know, but there we go. So we're on the old part, but above the newer part. We've just come down the bottom of the old A3, and just here, where the roundabouts are, is where the Hindhead traffic lights used to be, which used to cause huge tailbacks everywhere. And then we're now heading towards, what's the name of the lady, the lady what's walk?
Mrs. James.
Mrs. James.
Or Miss
Walk.
James, isn't it? Miss James?
Miss James.
Miss James.
Miss James's walk.
Miss James's Walk. So that bit of road in front of us is just the old, and another bit of the old A3. But we're heading down here. In fact, I think we could have gone through the side there. To take in where we hope to be able to see the new tunnel of the A3. There we are, National Trust, Miss James's Walk, car park. So we've got to head down through here. Got a notice board here. National Trust, Miss James's Walk. We were just looking at the other walks that were on the board, and bless him, Steve thought we were going to go and do one today.
Without record, we're getting lost.
Steve, no, please, let me correct you. We never get lost, we just take the wrong turn. So we're moving away from the old A3 now, and we're heading down into this woodland, and then eventually onto the bridge that crosses over the A3. There's another notice board here, and this is the notice board where it starts for Miss James's Walk. Here we go, and there is Miss James. So we've got to head down here, and we're very close to the bridge now, so that's great. So here we are, this is the bridge that goes over the A3, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to see much of it. There we go. Actually, let me try and raise this up a bit. There we go. That is the Hindhead Tunnel on the A3. On the right hand side you've got the left hand lane, or lanes of the dual carriageway heading to Portsmouth, and on the lane directly below us is the northbound lane to London. So I've just moved down a little bit along the bridge just to try and get out of the sun a bit. And as you can see, the traffic there, and just here on the left hand side you can see the slip road to take you to Greyshot and Hindhead, and the one on the right hand side further in the distance is where the traffic comes down and picks up the A3 from, again, Greyshot, Haslemere and Hindhead. So there we go. As Steve mentioned just now, the flow of traffic is still quite substantial, and this is nowhere near the peak time yet. The only issue with the A3 now is on the A3 near Liss there is a roundabout, and at peak times the traffic queuing back, particularly heading south, the queues are huge, and that is, I believe it's the only sort of bottleneck on the A3 now, isn't it? Yeah.
And there must be a reason why they couldn't carry the dual carriageway through. I don't know whether it was obviously a landlocked.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. But there was a lot of famous people lived around here, wasn't there? Was it Conan Doyle?
Conan Doyle, Peter Alice.
Peter Alice.
He lived in Hindhead, but further down.
Yeah. But in this house in the distance here, Cynthia, I think, wasn't there another writer or a poet lived there?
George Bernard Shaw lived here, but I'm not sure which house.
Yeah.
He lived, no, Conan Doyle lived in Undershaw.
Undershaw.
Because George Bernard Shaw's house is just up the hill from him, so that can't be.
Oh, that's, oh right, okay. I thought he was further down. So yeah, a lot of famous people have lived here in the past and still do.
Professor Tyndall.
Professor Tyndall, yeah.
That's strange. There's
Yeah.
nothing, you can't see that. Oh, there's the moon.
There's a moon. Cynthia's trying to jump off the bridge. Stand here. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot take these people anywhere. They told me to move because the sun was in their eyes and it made them look... Anyway, this will be Kevin. No, sorry.
Yes, you are, Kevin.
Take two. Anyway, we've enjoyed it today. We've had a good time. We've walked up that way and we've walked down that way and we've walked across here. We've had a good time. I mean, really enjoyed it. It got cold. It got cold. Hence, everybody's dressed for the winter. So everybody, as you all know, this is famous, this area, for Professor Tyndall. And that's why Tyndall's Wood and a housing estate is named after him. He was famous in Victorian times, you know, and he was one of the most famous scientists of his time. Anyway, this will be Kevin, Cynthia and Steve. From above the A3, we're saying bye-bye. Bye! Bye-bye!